Hi guys, I'm here to update you on my progress for the advance pattern. This one here, I've actually started constructing this out of some really cheap $3 a yard black cotton, and I had about 2 yards of this really cute little 50s print and not enough to make a full shirt out of or dress, so I'm going to use it for the collar in this pattern. So here's what I've got so far. Try it on for you. I don't have the side seams done, so I can just whip this over. So far I really like the fit. Seems to be working really well. Let me bring the sides around. I'm wearing a black dress underneath this, so if I step back you can see how it's looking. This gorgeous collar wraps around. It's kind of a high collar. It's folded over a lot and it's already wrapped around. Neckline is this curved feature right here, and the yoke is only in the front. Does not have a yoke in the back, as you can see. I like it a lot. Talk a little bit about some of the construction things that are different with this one. It's kind of fun. The front part, and another video where I removed the bust dart. Here's the yoke, and here's the front part, and here's the collar. And fits really nice, and you can see all the gathers, maybe not, it's black. You can see where it's gathered right here. This is where all of that extra fabric went when I removed the bust dart. Went into that gather there. So it fits very nicely. It does not have a side bust dart. It does have a waist dart here. How this one is constructed is I sewed the collar onto the back first, and then the yoke is connected to the collar, so the yoke gets sewed onto the back. Here's the back shoulder dart here. So the collar and the yoke get sewed on at once. And then you can see on the inside, here's another second collar and a yoke. You sew those right side together, the collar yokes right side together, and then you flip them right side out. So the inside of your collar is also patterned, and when you flip it out, you're wearing on your neck, flip it out, it has the same pattern as the yoke. And there's a secondary yoke that's going to go on the inside. If I take this whole thing, I'm going to put it on a hanger so it's a little bit easier for you to see. If I take this whole thing and flip it out, completely inside out, you can see there's a secondary yoke here. This secondary yoke is now going to get turned in like a ½ an inch right here and sewn on to the shoulder seam, and then down here you sew it on to the curve like that, so it'll cover up this. So one interesting detail too, the yoke does not get sewn on to the front bodice by just slapping the right sides together and then sewing and turning inside out. The yoke is actually top stitched. I used a black thread, you could see. You just literally take this yoke and you overlap it over top of the bust gathers that you put in here and sew as close to the margin as you can. Excuse me. And that is how the yoke gets attached to the front bodice. So it needs some buttons down and some side seams thrown in and some finishing, and I'm going to probably look for some matching black cotton, Kona cotton I think I used from Joann Fabrics, and try to make a skirt, and I'll have a complete dress from it. But I'm now planning to take this pattern and make it in the beautiful Asian Alexander Henry print that I showed you in the other video. So thought you guys like to see how it's coming along, and some of the tricks that I used to sew the bodice there with the tricky top stitching on instead of sewing your regular 5/8 seams. All my pattern seams were 1/2 inch on here. So it's going to be really cute when it's done. If you're looking to see what it looks like, pop on over to my blog at sewmisunderstood.blogspot.com. Thanks guys, see you next time.